let me know what business you're in and where you're from. So, welcome Zach, welcome on, welcome Raquel, guys. So we're also on Facebook. Guys, it's big on November. We're halfway through November. That means we're coming up on the end of the year. So, if you're a business owner, and you're in business, and you have not taken care of your bookkeeping, it's probably very important that you get started on that quickly. I recommend something like QuickBooks. QuickBooks is great. If you need help getting set up with QuickBooks, hit me up. Also, if you go to the link in my bio, go to my link tree, there's a way that you can get 40% off for 6 months, which is another really cool thing. So, but guys, I get this question all the time. What's the easiest way to save on taxes? How do I save on taxes? The best way to get started on saving on taxes is to definitely get started with bookkeeping. That is really important. Told you to come. Yeah, Luke's in here. If I open up one business and open up another under that business, would that save me on taxes? No. So if you open up one business and another, all the income and the expenses are going to be reported the same. So, you get these same deductions. So it's not going to necessarily help you. The only thing it's going to help you with is to diversify your income. So you can have a profit and loss with one business and a profit and loss with another business. So that can help with that. But saving on taxes, I think those strategies are limited. Of course, there's many things that we can do, but have to be very careful. But that was a really good question, Raquel, and thank you for asking a question. You're pretty active on Monday. Yeah, guys. And by the way, if you don't know, my name is Duke Alexander Moore. I am an advanced QuickBooks Pro advisor, and I'm also an enrolled agent. That means I'm a tax professional. I help my clients save on taxes. So I help entrepreneurs, small business owners get set up with their bookkeeping, and then once we set you up with bookkeeping, I help you guys save on taxes. So I have a question on taxes on stock losses and gains. Do I claim that on my business tax return? So yeah, you're gonna report those losses or gains on your tax return. And if it's stocks, you're gonna fill out a form called 8949. And on that form, that's where you're gonna decide, hey, is this stock, is this loss, is it a short term or long term capital gains or capital loss? So that's where you figure that out. So yeah, you're gonna have to report it. And your financial institution should, or whoever you're doing that, they should issue you some type of 1099 at the end of the year. And you're gonna use that 1099 to help you fill out Form 8949, which transfers over to Schedule D. Long-term capital gain is cheaper. Absolutely. So yeah, long-term capital gains, it gets taxed at so yeah, that's a great point, Freddie. Long-term capital gains gets taxed at a lower rate. I have a trust. How do I handle that? If you have a trust, I definitely recommend you work with a tax professional. You got to fill out Form, I believe, 1041. Yeah, you should, if you have a trust or an estate, I'd reach out to a tax professional. I don't file trust returns. I haven't filed one. But I can find someone that can help you do, if that's what your question is. When do we start paying taxes? So, good question, Meme. So, if you're a self-employed business owner, you're required to start paying taxes when your net income is $400 or more, and that's just straight up and down. So, you're gonna use this to Schedule C. So that's when you start paying. And I need to say this: self-employment tax. That's when you're required to start, and I hope that's what you're asking. That's when you're required to pay self-employment tax when that net income is $400 or more. Now, quarterly taxes, you're required to start paying that when the year before you owed $1,000 or more. So that was a great question. Yeah, Freddie has a good point with the long-term capital gains, and we can go over that real quick. So, because that's one thing that I think is very important. So when you're selling assets. Right, let me get this board in the view. Yeah. When you're selling assets, and it depends. It's really important how long you hold these guys. I'm trying to get this in view. It's really important how long you hold these assets because it affects your tax rate, right? So you have a lot of people who won't hold assets that long, and you have certain people that do. and depending how long you hold them really affects it. So you have two type of tax rates, right? And Form 8949, that's why it's really important to fill out Form 8949. That will help you to determine, hey, is this a long-term or is it a short-term capital gain? So, right, we have short-term, talk about capital gains. And you have long-term, okay? And so your short-term capital gains, that can get taxed right now all the way up to 37%, right? With long-term capital gains, you're looking at 0 to 20%, right? And so the only difference between short-term and long-term capital gains, it depends how long. I hate that the ring light reflects off of the whiteboard. It really depends on how long you hold it. So if you hold it for less than a year, you get taxed at that rate, right? If you hold it more than a year, you get taxed at that rate. So you have the opportunity when you sell this after to pay up to only 0% in taxes, which is really neat. Yeah, that was a great observation. I live on my own, but I use my parents' address for everything. I have a kid now, and I'm claiming them. That's fine. You can still claim your claim even you live at your parents' address. What happens if you are a 1099 and still getting work but can't claim unemployment? So when you're claiming your unemployment, when you're requesting benefits, typically you have to add your income in there, whether it's self-employment income or anything like that. So when you add that income, that's really what that's based on. So as long as you're reporting that income correctly, you shouldn't have a problem. But like I said, I'm not an unemployment professional. I'm more of a tax professional. I can help you in that area, but as far as unemployment, that's all I know. Head of household, will my parents have issues if they claim head of? No. So the question was head of household, will my parents have any issues if they claim head of household using the same address? That's no. Any books that explain it all and really help us? One book I'm reading right now is The Power of Zero. It's not going to help you with all the taxes, but it can help you, with the 0% tax bracket, which is what I like. But the best way to learn about taxes, guys, is just to go to the IRS website and read the publications. Like, by far, that's the easiest way. That's what I recommend. That's what I do. And just Google it, and it's read the IRS instructions, and it'll teach you a ton of stuff. Yeah. So yeah, great questions. Hi, I have 996. Please help. 996. What's that? From a tax perspective, what is the best way to run an LLC, SC business, sole proprietorship, LLC? So for a tax perspective, it doesn't matter whether you're just a sole proprietorship, DBA, or LLC. You're going to get all the same benefits. It really depends. Hey, what we want to do when your net income is around $50,000 or more. But if you're just an Etsy shop, just getting started, you're totally fine just being a sole proprietorship or DBA. I do always recommend you to do the LLC, just for personal asset protection and other things. But at the same time, it's not necessary. So yeah, that was a great question. Great advice. Thank you so much, Sherry. I didn't work this year, but I paid for school. What form do I file? So if you went to school and you had educator expense, you're just gonna claim that on your tax return. I'm not sure exactly what form it's gonna file, but if you just had educator expenses, if you didn't work, did you have any type of income? Because if you didn't have, here, let me see this. Let me explain it like this. Yeah. So let me explain this like this, okay? So, if you didn't work, and it really depends what your taxable income is, right? So, I want you guys to remember this: nobody pays income taxes above the standard deduction who files a U.S. tax return, okay? So when you say you didn't work, well, my question is, and if you're single, if it's just you, did you make more earned income of $12,400 or more? All right, or that's earned like W-2, or did you have self-employment? Self-employment, $400 plus, okay? So these are the two questions you need to ask yourself. So $12,400 or more, that is what you call the standard deduction. So if you didn't work and you didn't make more than $12,400 or more, you're not required to file. Although you still should file because, like you said, you can claim something like the educator expense, or you may have had withholdings from your check, but that's kind of like the threshold. So when you say you didn't work, well, you may not be required to file, but you should still file anyways. And you're gonna file your personal tax return, and that's Form 1040. Okay. If you have self-employment income, you're gonna file Schedule C. Great question. Yay. You're welcome. Guys, I love it when you say thank you. Savings, yeah, absolutely. Guys, yeah. And guys, if I missed your question, just ask it again and I'll try to catch up with it. I just started my own auto detailing business. Do I need to do any paperwork? So when I have to go to, I'm assuming file it. If you're with auto detailing, I would check with your state to see if you need some type of license or permit. But as far as filing a tax return, no. You don't have to provide any LLC documents. You don't have to provide any DBA documents. You may have to provide EIN if you have it. But no, you don't have to. And guys, when you're claiming these deductions on your tax return, you do not have to submit any proof with it. The only time you're going to have to submit proof is in case of an IRS audit. And the purpose of an IRS audit is to make sure you are paying the correct amount of tax. What you claim on your tax return is true. So if they see something, let's say the IRS sees something funky in your tax return, like, that doesn't look right. Well, guess what? They're going to ask for proof of that. So now, if you're just getting started, you're starting auto detailing, there's nothing you have to provide when you're filing your tax return itself. But I would still check with your state to see if you have any type of license or permits, or if you have to collect sales tax and stuff like that. Thank you so much. You are so welcome. You're welcome. I'm Black. Hello. Just so you know, I'm not hating. Okay, I love your page. Thank you so much, Lucky. So I love when you guys say nice comments. That is awesome. So thank you so much, Lucky. Forbes. So if you make anything below $12,400, you have to pay taxes, or so if you make $12,400 more, you have to pay you're not required to pay regular income taxes. And what these regular income taxes are, people, is the tax bracket. So you know how you hear those tax brackets, like, oh, I'm in this bracket, I'm in this bracket. Well, that's what that is, okay? So it's income taxes, but self-employment tax is different, okay? But no one has to pay income taxes above their income of the standard deduction. And this amount changes every year. And it's also different whether you're claiming head of household, or you're married filed jointly. It always changes. So, if you're watching this video in a later year, just do a quick Google search. Hey, what's the standard deduction for this year? And that's how you determine. So, yeah, great question. What is an EIN? So an EIN, guys, an EIN is it's called an employer identification number. And I'll explain it to you real quick. So, okay. So guys, this is the example I like to give when you have a business, okay? Right, so let's look at it like this, all right? So let's look at two scenarios. Let's look at you and your business, okay? So this is you, right? And this is your business. I'm gonna say your business, okay? This is you and your business. My marker's about to run out. got me a new marker. Okay, guys, can you see this? So your business, okay? So you have a name, right? You have a name, okay? I hope you have a name. It's okay if you don't. And your business has a name, okay? Stay with me now. Got it, okay? So think about it. When you guys have your business, I really want you to think about it as literally somebody else, okay? And I want you to treat it like it's somebody else. So when you're born, you have a name, your business has a name, okay? You're also giving a social security number, okay? Well, your business does not get a social security number. Your business gets an EIN number. So, you get a social security number, your business gets an EIN number. And here's the last thing. You have a bank account, right? Your business needs to have a bank account. Okay? Does that make sense? This is the simple structure of how you want to treat your business. You have a name, your business has a name. You have a social security number, your business has an EIN number. This stands for social security number, but this stands for employer identification number. You need to have your own personal bank account, and your business has a bank account. Now, to get this EIN, guys, you're going to go to irs.gov/EIN. Okay? And it's free. It's free. Okay? So that's where you're going to go. irs.gov/EIN, and it's free. Okay? So I hope that helps when you ask that question, what's an EIN? Hope that helps. Yeah. Thank you, Miss Brittany, for answering that. Join, no problem. You're welcome. LLC versus sole proprietorship, please. What's better? Okay. Are you a tax accountant? I'm an enrolled agent. I'm a tax professional. So I specialize in all tax law and helping my clients save on taxes. You're welcome. So LLC is sole proprietorship, okay? Okay. First, let's talk about a sole proprietorship, okay? So this is your sole proprietorship. All right. Okay. Sole proprietorship, okay? And I'm gonna walk you through how it gets taxed. So as a sole proprietorship, let's say you bring in $100,000. So you bring in $100,000 of sales. Okay? Sole proprietorship. You bring in $100,000 in sales, okay? Then you have let's say you have $25,000 in expenses. Okay? Bring in $100,000 in sales and you have $25,000 in expenses, okay? Guys, so that means your net income is $75K. Okay? Hope you guys can see this. If you're having trouble seeing this, just swipe the comments to the left. So, look, and you guys, if you're just joining, we're talking, and thank you for sharing this live. We're talking about the sole proprietorship. So you got $100,000 in sales, $25,000 in expenses. Your net income is $75,000. Okay. So this is where you pay tax. You don't pay tax here. You don't pay tax here. You pay tax here, right? So the first tax you're gonna pay is self-employment tax. Okay. So then you pay 15.3% self-employment tax. Okay? And guys, I got this diagram from Mark Cooler. So great guy, check him out. I'm gonna say Mark Cooler. Okay? Okay, so net income $75,000. You pay 15.3% in self-employment tax, and then Then you're going to pay regular income tax. Okay? You got that? Okay. So you're going to pay self-employment tax and regular income tax. Okay? Now, the only thing with a sole proprietorship is that you do not have personal asset protection. Okay? So with a sole proprietorship, when you're just a sole proprietorship, guys, there's no personal asset protection. Now, the difference between a sole proprietorship and an LLC, this is the main difference, okay? So you guys, you got this in your brain. This is a sole proprietorship. You got it? Got it, okay? So I'm gonna just change two things, right? So the difference between a sole proprietorship and an LLC is that it has personal asset protection. That is the difference. The taxes are still the same. The only difference between a sole proprietorship and an LLC, when you just look at it at a simple concept, is that the LLC has personal asset protection. Okay? It's still taxed the same. You're still going to get taxed at 15.3% for self-employment tax, and then you're going to pay regular income tax. Got it? So I'm going to go back to the sole prop, no asset protection. Got it? Got it. That was a great question, and I hope that helps. And guys, if I missed your question, just please ask it again. Hey, I have a question. Let's say I have 2 kids and I make $80,000 a year. If I do a side hustle, will I get reimbursed for each kid? So you can talk about the child tax credit, which is a $2,000 credit, and it's refundable up to, I believe, $1,400. If you have a side hustle, and guys, I just dropped a YouTube video explaining the HYK tax strategy. So it may help for you to watch that. Assuming that you did watch the video already, you can definitely hire them in the business to help you save on taxes. But as far as reimbursement, you probably just want to look at credits. Hope that helps. Hi, what's up, KKPP799? What's up, Miss Brittany? When you say income tax, is that federal tax or state? So that's state and federal. Right. So regular income tax, that's state. Damn, I can't even spell state. I must spell stale. Doo-doo-doo. So that's state and fed. Yeah, so that's state. So that's gonna be your state tax and IRS taxes. Yeah, so that's the tax. When I say regular income tax, yeah. So are both. Yeah, that's the both. Good question. Yes. Thank you so much. Awesome channel. Oh yeah, thank you. Dude, nice comments are like, they're so cool. Love them. I'm a wholesaler, so taxes are like regular income taxes. Yeah, but you can also file a schedule C. But I don't have much experience with a wholesaler. I haven't had a wholesale client. If you want to be the first, by all means necessary, let's set up a time to talk, and I can strategize with you a little bit better. But I haven't had any experience with wholesale. How long have you been doing this? I've been doing this professionally for 2 years, but I've been doing taxes itself for about like 9 years. Can you do a tax video for day traders? I kind of have one. It just didn't do good. I believe it got like 2,000 views. I'm like, what? But I do have one. But I can try to do one. That sounds like a good idea. I've had that request a lot. But I guess when I put it out, TikTok didn't push it out. Where in the IRS website do I go to learn taxes? Everywhere. But really, you want to search for what you're trying to learn. and narrow down. If you want to study like business taxes, I recommend that you just search for Schedule C and read the Schedule C instructions. You can also read publications. In the IRS, actually on their website, they actually have like a part for self-employed people, which can help too. So that's a great swatch. I just tuned in. Can you explain what you're teaching, please? Yeah, so we just talked about what's the difference between a sole proprietorship and an LLC. So that's a great question. So I'm gonna just cover this for Crystal real quick, the Crystal doctors. So someone asked earlier, what's the difference between a sole proprietor and a LLC? So, and I'm using Mark Cooler's diagram. I want to give people credit. Mark Cooler came up with this, right? So with a sole proprietorship, let's say you have $100,000 in sales, and sole proprietorship, that could be a sole proprietorship, guys, is a business that is not a corporation. So it's not like an S-Corp, it's not a C-Corp. So if you receive a 1099, you're a sole proprietor. If you have a little side hustle, you're a sole proprietor. Okay? Yeah, that's pretty much what a sole proprietor is. Okay? So let me walk through this. So if you have $100,000 in sales, $25,000 in expenses, that leaves your net income at $75,000. This is where you pay taxes. You pay taxes on your net income. You do not pay taxes on your total sales. So you don't pay taxes here. You don't pay taxes here. You pay taxes on your net income. So you see, the more expenses you have, the less your net income is. So this is why a lot of people try to like really get with the expenses, tax deductions, and so forth. Okay? So once you have your net income, you then, and it's your sole proprietorship, you're then going to pay 15.3% in self-employment tax. Okay? And then you're also going to pay regular income taxes at the state and federal level. Now, with the sole proprietorship, when it's just a sole proprietorship, it's not an LLC, you have no personal asset protection. Now, let's say we jump into an LLC, right? We call it Secretary of State. We be like, what's up, Secretary of State? I'm trying to get me an LLC. Okay? That's what we do. So we put LLC right here. And the only difference between a sole proprietorship and LLC is this. A little check mark right here. That's it. We get personal asset protection. So you really want to ask yourself when you're deciding, when you're jumping into an LLC, do I have assets I want to protect, right? Do I have a house that I own? Do I have a car that I own? Not that you're making payments on, that you actually own. So if someone were to sue you, what could they take? So that's when you want to really decide, should I jump into an LLC? Of course, there's a lot more benefits with an LLC, but when we're talking about the foundation of what the difference between an LLC and a simple sole proprietorship is that one has no asset protection, which is going to be the sole proprietorship, and the other has personal asset protection, which is the LLC. So yeah, can you do a number game? Okay, what's 1 + 1? Who can get it first? Do you like to do this? I love to do this. What is a number game? Tell me a number game. What if I have 100,000? 100,000? Woo! Wouldn't you like $100,000 in sales? Would you like $100,000 in sales? Okay, can you explain what the S-Corp is? Yeah, so let me explain what the S-Corp is. So S-Corp, okay. So you have $100,000 in sales, right? So let's jump into the S-Corp. So with the S-Corp, I almost spelled S-Corp. S-Corp. Okay. So when you have an S-Corp, okay, so that was a great question. So when you have an S-Corp, you have $100,000 in sales, you have $25,000 in expenses, and then you're going to have another thing. Let's say you have $25,000 in salary. Okay? So one of the requirements of an S-Corp, guys, is that the owner is on salary. you can't be an S-Corp without it. I wouldn't advise it. If you can't afford to pay yourself, so if you're sitting there asking yourself, how do I pay myself? Well, maybe the S-Corp isn't for you because you need to be able to pay yourself in order to be an S-Corp, right? So $100,000 in sales, $25,000 in expenses, a $75K salary, right? I mean, $25,000 salary that you pay yourself. Now our net income is $50,000, right? And the nice thing about an S-Corp is that we don't pay this self-employment tax. So with an S-Corp, all we're doing is we're paying regular income tax. We're paying regular income tax. And that's at the state and federal level. So and then an S-Corp also has the personal asset protection. So once again, with an S-Corp, $100,000 in sales, $25,000 in expenses, $25,000 in salary, net income is $50K, right? You do not pay self-employment tax. You only pay regular income tax. So that's why people form an S-Corp to avoid paying the self-employment tax. Because instead you're paying salary. So that was a great question, Minds. That question was from Facebook. If you don't mind me asking, how much do you make per year doing your job? I make enough to pay the bills and makes me really, really happy. That was a great question. What about S-Corps? Yeah, just covered S-Corps. Yeah, just covered it. Like, can you do the voice? Wait, serious question. So I day trade. Let's say I make $50K. Can I make a second biggest set? Absolutely. Reinvest that profits. That's what I would do. Charters, baby. Yeah, absolutely. What's a C-Corp? So a C-Corp is a little bit same. I have to look. A C-Corp, I wouldn't even worry about C-Corp, okay? Most of you guys, it doesn't make sense to be in a C-Corp. But I can't cover that. Which one is better, LLC or C-Corp? It depends. It depends. And so when you're looking at what's better, thank you so much. I seen you on air. Hey, I'm glad you're still here. So it depends. Now with an S-Corp, typically, okay, when your net income is $50,000, you typically want to be in the S-Corp. Remember, net income. You typically want to jump in the S-Corp. So there really is no which one's better, which is the LLC or S-Corp. It's which one best suits you in the position you are at. So right, the LLC may work. If that works, let's do it. Because when you form an S-Corp, guys, there's so many more expenses, there's so many more maintenance. It's a corporation, baby. And we got to treat it like a corporation. So what's the difference between an LLC and S-Corp? It just depends, really. That just deserves a consultation. That was a great question. And guys, if I miss the voice, guys, if I miss your question, just please ask again. I'm gonna read the questions in the voice. Ideally, if you start an LLC, it's good for beginning once you scale your business, and S-Corp is better at the beginning. Yes. So what that question pretty much adds is the LLC good in the beginning and the S-Corp is better later on. Typically, that's how the flow goes. You want to start in it. You want to just float the process, right? Start with a DBA if you have to. Jump into an LLC. And then once you have that net income, once you have the money to jump into an S-Corp, okay, then run it. Yeah, that was a really great question. Are you a tax accountant? I'm not sure if you answered that question. So legally, I cannot call myself a tax accountant in the state of Texas, all right? I'm an enrolled agent. I'm pretty much a tax professional. I specialize in tax knowledge. I own a business. I own a business where I help my clients get set up with bookkeeping. I help them save on taxes, and I also prepare their tax returns. Is that actually your question? If I make a business in a foreign place and charge my LLC in the USA, does that mean I pay less taxes? That depends. And I do that's when you talk about foreign tax, and I am not educated enough in that to answer that question. Now, if you do have foreign tax, I can definitely reach out to my community. Maybe they can give you a hand, but I would just hate to answer that question when I don't have much experience in it. Thanks for the knowledge. You're welcome. McDonald's was. Why do some people get audited when buying a home? Audits are pretty random, and okay, so here's when you're buying a home. Okay, so there's one way you can get audited. If 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 the bank tips off to the IRS, right? So typically when you're buying a home, someone's going through your financial records, or they may ask for your tax return. And they may review your tax return. If they see anything fishy or something like that, they could tip the IRS like, hey, this doesn't seem right. So that's one way that the IRS gets random audits and so forth. So maybe someone caught something fishy, but that makes sense. So typically when you have someone digging in your past and something doesn't look right, that's why. Not saying that's always what happens, but I could see that happening. What are some most common things people get audited for? I don't know. It just really depends. I can't really answer that question. It's just people get audited. The main reason why you're going to get audited the purpose of an audit is just to determine if you're paying the correct amount of tax. There's no really formula of how you get audited. The best thing that you can do is just be prepared for an audit. The best way to be prepared for an audit is to make sure you're taking care of your bookkeeping. That is really important. So when the audit comes, you're like, oh, I'm good. I'm super straight. I ain't stressing about nothing. That's the best way. Look, let's bite that board. That's a great question. Can we do a one-on-one? I'm planning on starting. Yeah, absolutely. Can you claim a child if they don't live with you? Typically they have to live with you, but I'm not 100%. Why would you have to be taking care of the kid? Really, just use common sense with that one. Thank you for answering my question. You're welcome. What does refinancing a home mean? Like I said, guys, I would love to be able to answer that question, what refinancing a home means, but I specialize in federal taxes and QuickBooks. So I'm not 100% sure. I wish I could answer. I wish I was a financial guru and I just knew everything, but I try to just perfect my craft and I only focus on tax. Right. That's it. Hopefully one day I can have the experience to be able to answer that question, but right now I just focus on tax. Any advice on buying a home? Yeah, make sure your tax returns are filed. That's really important. Work with a realtor, work with someone good. What taxes do you pay in the S-Corp? So you're going to have employment tax. You're going to pay employment taxes, which is payroll taxes, right? Because you're hiring yourself in. So that's that salary part right there, right? But the neat thing about an S-Corp versus an LLC or sole proprietorship is that you avoid paying a self-employment tax, which is where we're trying to get at. So that was a great question. Thank you. You're welcome. Can you claim a child? Can you claim a child I provided it? No, I'm not sure what that question means. Although protecting your assets is important, how common is it? Exactly? It's not very common. I rare claim. I really like that you asked that question. 80% of the businesses that have an LLC typically don't need one. Now you guys got to think. That was a really great question. You guys got to think. Okay, so being sued, right? So the main point of an LLC, right, is to protect our personal assets if we're getting sued. Guys, I want you just to really think about what's going on in the world right now. If you notice that there is a trend of more businesses moving online, we don't have the really physical presence as we did before, like a brick and mortar where you have, whoop, I slipped and fell. My neck, my back, my neck and my neck, right? We're going more online, meaning we are exposing ourselves less to risk. meaning it may not be as necessary as before to form an LLC to protect our personal assets. Now, in some cases, yeah, I still do recommend LLC, depending what type of business you are. Also, look at your goals. Maybe you're trying to build business credit. I don't know. But that was a great question, Rare Claim. I love that. What taxes come out with owning a home? Typically, you have to pay property taxes. Why is filing tax returns important? It's super important. You're required, because you're required to pay taxes. That's kind of like the law. You're required to pay taxes, but what people get confused is filing tax returns voluntarily. So filing taxes is really important, especially if you're serious about your business. If you want to reduce your stress levels, like, oh my God, the IRS can come after you, especially if someone's issuing you a 1099, they can come after you. I mean, there's so many reasons why filing a tax return is important. I mean, why even ask that question? I mean, it's really important. Jeffrey, what's up, Jeffrey? That's a kind of a consistent live viewer. How does QuickBooks work? Is it like an online notebook? Very similar, kind of. Not a notebook, but notebook for your business. And guys, if you want to save on QuickBooks, use my affiliate link in my bio. You will get 40% off for 6 months. So QuickBooks give that to me, so I can give it to you guys. So QuickBooks, it requires a learning curve. You're gonna have to invest the time to learn it. I plan to start making YouTube videos to teach you guys QuickBooks a little bit more. So I do it for my clients and so forth. So yeah, can I claim my sister? It just went away. Guys, if I missed your question, how old are you, Mr. Tax Professional? I just turned 26 this past Saturday. I just turned 26 a couple days ago. I sent 1099. I sent 109 likes. Thank you. How do I file LLC? Is there a website? You want to check with your Secretary of State. So you're going to file your LLC with your Secretary. We're going to file the LLC with your Secretary of State. Woo! You like how that rolled off? Secretary of State. Woohoo! Okay, yeah. So just Google your state, Google Secretary of State, and then that's how you're gonna file an LLC. The price range difference, I know in Texas, to do that is $300. Thank you for that happy belated birthday. Thank you so much. Happy belated birthday. You're so young. Thank you. State, baby. If I own 2 vehicles, I'll pay it off and transfer over into my business. So if you're converting a personal asset to a business asset, you can't claim you can't claim Section 179 bonus appreciation. You have to have bought it that year. So you can still depreciate it, but as far as claiming that Section 179 bonus is completely different. Guys, if I missed your questions, just please ask it again. I'm trying to go through them. Say 2 kids started business what's up, who back gang 420? Say 2 kids start a business, would there be any problems with that? No, don't see any problems with it. The only problems I see is if you aren't taking care of your bookkeeping, you aren't following your tax returns, you're not reporting the income, you're not checking with your state to see if you have any required license or permits. You don't have a separate bank account. That's what I see wrong with. But no, go get started with that. Yoku Stusu 97. How long did you study to become an EA? Any courses you recommend? I recommend Fast Forward Academy. It took me about 2 months. Are C-Corps better than S-Corp since the new tax law? You can avoid. So C-Corps, they're going to get taxed twice. You're going to get taxed twice. So it doesn't make sense for. For most of you guys, it does not make sense to be in a C-Corp. It only makes sense for you to be in a C-Corp if you're looking to raise capital. That if you're looking to have more than 100 people invest in your business. This is something like a Facebook or like a Google or something like that. When you're having a lot of investors investing into your business, guys, and you don't even, guys, when you have the ink, that is so much maintenance that I don't even work with C-Corps, right? It's a lot of maintenance. Those are the big companies. And I do work, I'm not going to say I don't work with C-Corps, but I do. But it's a lot of maintenance, right? So C-Corps just, at the end of the day, don't make sense because how this whole business started, right? When it first came into play, there was only two business entities, right? You could only be a sole proprietorship or a sole proprietorship or C corp. That's it, right? This is back before like 1958. You could only be a sole proprietorship or C corp, right? And now we have S-Corps. What an S-Corp does is kind of combines like the both. It combines like the sole proprietorship part, and it's not complicated as you would with a C corp. And then in 1977s, we started having the LLCs. Okay, so think of it like that. C corp isn't necessary. Hey guys, if I miss your company, can you please if I miss your company, if I miss your question, please ask me again. Can I own multiple businesses under LLCs? Not 100 restrictions. I know you can do probably DBAs, or you can have your LLC own other businesses. Yeah, that could work. Register an LLC in home state of Nevada. Yeah, see that Nevada, Wyoming, Delaware stuff, like that's just some scam. In my opinion, that's just some scam stuff. You need to register your LLC where you live, the state that you live. Keep it like that. Startup companies for startup companies are good for C corps. If you expect to raise a lot of capital, and because you can write off losses for C corp a lot different. Can you buy if someone sue you? They will sue. Can you buy if someone sue you? They will sue all your business. If you're an LLC, yeah, that's why I protect that. If I buy a vehicle under my name, can it be? Yeah, absolutely. So guys, it doesn't matter whether you buy the vehicle in your name or the business. Man, I keep messing up my words. Say what? And guys, focus. Doesn't matter if you buy the LLC in your name or the business name. What matters is how you use the vehicle. Okay? And in order for you to be able to write off this vehicle like you're looking to write off this vehicle, like to say depreciation, you have to at least use that vehicle for at least 50% for business. Okay? So no, you can put it in your name, you can put it in the business name. When it comes to writing it off on your tax return, it depends how you use it. That, my friend, is what's important. Guys, if I missed your question, just please ask it again. Whoop whoop. What's up, Carly? What's up, Patrick? Little girl. Can a vehicle be a tax write-off for multiple years, or only for the year you bought it? So, yeah, you can. Okay, so you can you can depreciate it over several years, or you can take the mileage deduction for several years, or you can claim the actual expense method for several years. So yeah, I hope that makes that sense. If I missed your question, just please if I missed it, we're claiming I'm underage, so I don't know taxes well. When our taxes paid, I'm underage, so I don't know taxes well. When are taxes paid, and how much is taxed from the LLC income? Okay, so, and guys, if I missed your question, just please ask again. I'm trying. I be trying. I really do be trying to keep up. Okay, so when are taxes paid? So you're gonna have to, if you're an LLC, you're a single member LLC, you're going to file your tax return by April 15th, typically. That's when it's due. Okay? That's when it's due. April 15th. Alright, if you're just an LLC, right? Yeah. So April 15th. That's when you're gonna have to pay. Now, how much you're gonna have to pay depends on how much you make, okay? So let's go with this. Okay? So let's say LLC taxes. Okay? April 15th. Okay, so LLC taxes. Remember, April 15th, okay? So, and it depends on how much you made, okay? So, let's say your income. Well, I'm sorry. It depends on how much you made minus your expenses. So that's why it's really important to track your expenses. So let's say your income or your 1099, okay, is 10,000, okay? 10,000. That K means 10,000, okay? So let's say that, okay? Okay. Got it. Right? So the income is 10,000. Okay? So let's say our expenses right? Well, this is what we call QuickBooks. Okay? So let's say our expenses are 5,000. Okay? And anytime you see parentheses on a financial statement, that means it's a negative number. Okay? So our income is 10,000, expenses are 5,000. Our net income is $5,000. Okay? Our net income is $5,000. Okay? So, and here's the formula for when you're determining this, right? So, for self-employment tax, right? Self-employment tax. So, first you're going to have to figure out your self-employment tax. Okay? So, to determine your self-employment tax, it's your net income times 0.9235, okay, times 0.153. Okay? This is how you figure out your self-employment tax, all right? So like 5,000, 5, 1, 2, 3. Can you see that? 5, 1, 2, 3 times 0.9235, right? And then we're going to multiply that by 0.153. So remember, so self-employment tax, we're going to pay 607 because you just round up. So we're going to pay $607, right? So let me write that here. So you got this. So self-employment tax equals, how much was it? $706. Okay? So this is our net income. So self-employment tax, net income times 0.9235 times 0.153. That's how we got how much in self-employment tax we're going to pay. Now, let's say we're in the 10% tax bracket. Because remember, like I spoke to you earlier, when you have an LLC, you're going to pay self-employment tax, and then you're going to pay regular income taxes. And that includes federal and state. So let's say we're in the 10% tax bracket, right? So we're going to look at that 5,000, 5, 1, 2, 3. We're going to multiply it by 10%. $500. Okay? These are my formulas, right, guys? If you want to take a screenshot, take a screenshot. If you want to take a screenshot, take a screenshot. These are the formulas. Okay? That's the formula. So $500. So 500. All right? So now we take our regular income tax plus our self-employment tax, and we get $1,206. Okay, so that's how the taxes work for the LLC, right? So remember, and this also can be considered a sole prop. Okay, it also can be a sole proprietorship, right? So income, which is your 1099 or your business. Let's say your income's 10,000. Let's say your expenses, which you're going to use QuickBooks to track. If you don't have QuickBooks, go to the link in my bio. Get started with it. My link in the bio is on TikTok. Let's say your expenses is $5,000. Your net income is going to be $5,000. To figure out your self-employment tax, you're going to take your net income times 0.9235, right? And then you're going to multiply that number by 0.153. That's going to give you your self-employment tax. And then for your regular income tax, let's say you're in the 10% bracket. So you take 10% of your net income for your federal taxes, and then that'll give you how much taxes you owe. I hope that helps. That was a great question. Guys, we have about 4 minutes left, so get those questions in. I'm going straight down to the bottom, so guys, ask your questions now. Can you retain earnings in a C-Corp? Believe so. I'm not 100% sure. Accumulate earnings and profits. If you don't have an LLC, is that bad? And do you need to get one in order to do taxes? No, you don't need an LLC to do taxes. What do you think about LLC filing as an S-Corp? It's a great decision if you're in that, if it makes sense. There's a lot more maintenance and it's a lot more expensive to form an S-Corp and to maintain it. If your LLC is doing around 50 net, not profit, not sales, if your profit's around 50,000, of course it makes sense. So the net worth of that example would be 3,000. Yeah, if you take, I think you took the 5, 1, 2, 3 minus. Yeah, exactly. Good job. See, you can understand taxes. So you made 5,000. You gave away 1,206. Yeah, so your net worth at the end of the year is 3,794. That was really good. Guys, if I missed your question, please jump down to the bottom and answer it. Can writing off business expenses ever be a bad thing for your taxes? That's a great question, Andreas, because it can. And here's why. Okay. Here's one scenario I went with the client. Here's one scenario with a client. So let's say you're trying to buy a house. All right. And your house is on Schedule C. Okay. So let's say your income is $10K. And let's say your expenses is $20,000. Okay? And it's very possible to have more expenses than your income. That's what we call a loss. So your income's $10,000, your expenses is $20,000. So your net income is negative $10,000, right? No taxes. Okay? So yeah, you don't pay taxes. Now let's say you're trying to buy a house. They're gonna be like, okay, cool, sir. Your credit score is good. Now let's see your income. Let's see if you qualify for the house. They're gonna ask for your tax return. When they look at your tax return and they see you making a negative, probably not a good idea. So if you're looking at showing a profit, like you're trying to get a house, you're trying to get loans, you want to show some profit on the Schedule C. If not, you're SOL. So that's where writing up too many business expenses is not a good idea, especially you're trying to get a loan, you're trying to go to the next level. Typically, when you want to go to the next level, you better be showing some type of income. If you're looking to buy a house, you better be showing some type of income. And typically, they require that 2 years of consistent income. So yeah, writing up too many business expenses can be bad in that scenario. And you see, you don't pay taxes, but you don't get a house. Take the both of those. But won't you be paying more in taxes? So yeah, exactly. So you'll be paying more in taxes. That is 100% right. Yeah. Can QuickBooks be set up for you to pay your calculated tax? No, but typically your tax professional can. So if you don't work with someone like me, we can, set it up, but no, I don't think so. If you can do your employee tax though. Can you write up gas mileages for 1099s? Absolutely. Yeah. So guys, if you show more profit, you're going to be paying more in taxes. But if you're looking to be getting a house, and it's really good to find that threshold. So this is why depreciation in Section 179 is really important. You're welcome. Where are you located? I'm located in Dallas, Texas, baby. I'm from Texas. Can I write off a car I got registered under my name? Yeah, so guys, if you're trying to write off a vehicle that you got registered in your name, it doesn't matter if you got it registered in your name, your elbow's name, your nose's name, the business name. It depends how you use it, okay? If you're using it in your business for at least 50%, yeah, then we can talk about some depreciation. So it depends how you use it in order for you to write it off. Can you explain depreciation? That is a long topic. I can cover it tomorrow because I'm about to hop off. Yeah, it's way past my time. So, guys, These were some great questions. I'll be back tomorrow. Tomorrow. And guys, if you find value in this live, please just scale 1 to 10. Tell me how valuable this information was that you shared. Let me know if you got like some takeaway from it. You learned something from it. Just kind of let me know how valuable this thing was. Scale 1 to 10. Okay, those are all some great questions, guys. 10, thank you. So it was valuable. Thank you so much. That makes me happy. 10 out of 10, you helped me so much. Thank you guys so much. 10, thank you so much. That makes me so happy. Explain everything that you didn't make sense to me. Thank you so much. What's the difference between, okay, what did I miss? Guys, one more question. Guys, I got to jump off. 10, thank you so much. Got some questions. Yeah, write down your questions. I'll be back tomorrow. 8 p.m. Central Time. Guys, this is a pretty jumping live. So yeah, thank you. I'm an EA. Yeah, so I'll be back. I'll go live Monday through Thursday, 8 p.m. Central Time. I will be back tomorrow. Write down your questions, have them ready. I better see you here. I got another 10. Thank you guys so much. I'll be back tomorrow. Come back tomorrow. Weekend, but yeah, I just want to share with you guys that. But yeah, happy Monday. We're in this thing live as always.